In 2015, a single Minecraft server broke a world record. Over 43,000 players connected at once. That server was Mineplex. For a lot of players, Mineplex wasn't just another name in the server list. It was where a lot of us grew up. For years, it was one of the biggest names in Minecraft multiplayer. Then, in 2023, it disappeared without warning. This year, it came back. This is the story of what made it huge, what killed it, and whether it can matter again. Mineplex opened on May 24, 2013, built by two guys who just wanted a place to host their own minigame. What started as a home for one minigame, Castle Siege, quickly turned into something bigger. Within months, Mineplex wasn't just a server, it was becoming a destination. The lobby became the memory. That tree at spawn, the sound of dozens of players running past you. For a lot of people, this was their first real taste of a massive online space, and it grew fast. By late 2013, one of the biggest Minecraft YouTubers at the time, Captain Sparkles, joined the server, and suddenly Mineplex wasn't just growing, it was exploding. By 2015, Mineplex wasn't just popular, it was record-breaking. On January 28th that year, Mineplex set a Guinness World Record. 43,033 players connected to a single Minecraft server at once. Later that same year, Mineplex lost the record to a new competitor that was about to change everything, Hypixel. But even without the record, Mineplex kept building. By 2016, it had grown into a full network of minigames, and for a lot of players, this map was the whole reason they logged on. These were some of the games that made Mineplex what it was. Cake Wars would not become one of Mineplex's flagship modes until years after the server's early peak. But before that, Mineplex had already built its identity around minigames that were easy to understand, fast to join, and instantly memorable. The Bridges was one of the clearest examples. Players started on separate islands, gathered resources, and waited for the bridges in the middle to appear. Once they did, it became full team-based PvP, where survival depended on how well your team could fight, defend, and push together. Block Hunt worked almost completely differently. Instead of fighting head-on, players disguised themselves as blocks around the map and tried to blend in. Hunters had to figure out which blocks were real and which ones were players hiding in plain sight. Turf Wars turned PvP into a back-and-forth battle over territory. Two teams faced off with bows, building small wool defenses while pushing the front line forward. Survival Games was Mineplex's version of the Hunger Games style mode that became popular across the community. Players rushed for loot, spread out, and fought until only one player or team remained, giving players that last one standing feeling long before Battle Royale became a mainstream genre. Minestrike. Instead of traditional Minecraft combat, it recreated the structure of a tactical shooter with teams, rounds, weapons, and objective-based gameplay, inspired by games like Counter-Strike. Dragon Escape was less about fighting and more about movement. Players parkoured through a collapsing course while a dragon destroyed the path behind them. The goal wasn't to defeat anyone, just to stay ahead of the chaos. And then there was Sky Wars, one of the simplest but most replayable Minecraft minigames. Players spawned on floating islands with limited resources, looted, built toward the middle, and fought until only one was left. One of the modes many players associate most with Minecraft multiplayer. 8 different games, one server. At a time when most servers were lucky to have one or two good ones, Mineplex was one of the first to prove a single Minecraft server could be a whole platform of its own. By the end of 2016, Mineplex had millions of unique players every month. This was the peak. And it wasn't just the lobby itself. Villager NPCs stood around the plaza, offering tutorials for anyone new to the server. A parkour course ran along the edge of the map, tempting players with a gem reward if they could make it through. Around Halloween and Christmas, the whole lobby would transform. Themed events, limited time game modes, and exclusive rewards like morphs and pets that you couldn't get any other way. Cosmetics became part of the culture too. Hats, particle effects, pets, ways to stand out in a crowd of thousands of identical Steve skins. But nothing stays on top forever. After 2016, the cracks started to show. Lag. Old exploits nobody fixed. And while Mineplex stood still, Hypixel kept building, adding bedwares in 2017, then Skyblock in 2019, modes that would go on to define an entire generation of Minecraft multiplayer. By the 2020s, updates had slowed down. Longtime players who'd been there since 2013 started drifting away. Not because of one big event, the server just stopped feeling like it was moving forward. To understand how Hypixel ended up on top, it helps to rewind slightly. Hypixel launched in April 2013, just weeks before Mineplex. It started almost exactly the same way Mineplex did, as a place to show off custom maps. The minigames were an afterthought, something to keep players busy while waiting for enough people to join, but the minigames took off on their own. By 2017, Hypixel held 4 separate Guinness World Records. By 2020, it had crossed 18 million unique players. While Mineplex was slowing down, Hypixel was doing the opposite. It was not just building minigames, it was building an ecosystem. New modes were added, old ones were polished, and the server became a place where Minecraft YouTubers could constantly find new content to make. That mattered a lot. Hypixel understood how powerful YouTube was for Minecraft. Many creators were sponsored, invited, or encouraged to play on the server, turning games like Sky Wars, Bed Wars, and later Skyblock into videos that reached millions of viewers. Every upload became free advertising. Every creator brought in new players. And slowly, Hypixel became more than just a server people played on. It became the server people watched. But staying at the top came with a cost. At one point, Hypixel reportedly cost around $100,000 a month to run. And because it had become the biggest target in Minecraft multiplayer, it also had to deal with years of large-scale attacks trying to take it offline. One of the clearest examples came in 2021, when an attack forced Hypixel to shut down for 4 days. Hypixel's rise was not just about having better minigames, it was about updates, advertising, creators, YouTubers, and surviving the pressure that came with becoming Minecraft's biggest server. Then, on May 11th, 2023, the servers went down. Staff weren't told anything beyond a single message. The server would be closing forever. Some hadn't even been paid in months. The public announcement came 5 days later, on May 16th, through Discord. For a server that had once broken world records, it was a quiet, almost anticlimactic end, just 12 days short of its 10th anniversary. Former admin Samito acquired Mineplex just days after the shutdown, promising to bring it back. But what came next wasn't a simple relaunch. In September 2023, Samito announced Mineplex wouldn't just return as a server, it would become Mineplex Studio, a platform where teams could pay to build and host their own games, keeping a share of the revenue. The idea was ambitious. It was also not what most of the community was waiting for. Many players didn't want a development platform. They wanted the server they remembered. What followed was nearly 3 years of closed betas, some modes well received, others called underwhelming, development going quiet for months at a time, then picking back up. In March 2026, Samito sold just the Mineplex name and original assets, keeping Studio as a separate project, to a new team led by James, a former Mineplex moderator. And on June 12, 2026, Mineplex relaunched. The response was bigger than almost anyone expected. Over 11,000 players tried to connect at once, so many that thousands were stuck in queue just to get in. But a huge first day does not answer the bigger question. Mineplex did not return to the same community that once made it famous. Minecraft multiplayer has changed a lot. Players have more options, servers are more optimized, and the standard for what people expect is much higher than it used to be. Nostalgia might get people to join once, but it is not what makes them stay. A relaunch can bring back attention for a week. What keeps a server alive is consistency. Regular updates, polished games, clear communication, and a team that keeps showing up after the first wave of hype is gone. That is the real challenge for Mineplex now. Mineplex may never need to be the biggest server in Minecraft again, but for the first time in years it has something it didn't have in its final days, a community that's genuinely excited to be back. What happens next is up to the people running it now.